Hey everyone, as you know, we're trying to get out as much content as possible about the coronavirus pandemic to get it to you as quickly as possible. And today I've just received another installment from Hostel Road Trip Podcast. James Black is interviewing Eric Faria from Worldpackers in Brazil and talking about the state of travelers who are volunteering and working or were planning to volunteer and work in hostels around the world. And also, what are the state of travelers who've been stuck away from home and are not in their home countries, and what are they doing about it? And that's all in this video coming up.
Welcome back to our hostel industry mini-series for the pandemic special. We are very excited to have the co-founder of Worldpackers live from Brazil, Eric Faria. How are you doing, Eric?
Hey, Jay. Hello?
Yeah, are you there? How are you doing?
Yes, I'm here. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. So how are things going down there in Brazil? Is it on lockdown yet like it is up here in California?
Yes, we are completely locked down here. Initially in São Paulo, where I am right now, initially for 15 days. But we are pretty much following what other countries are doing, especially Europe and the US. So I think we are, you guys are ahead of us doing the lockdowns and everything, but we are following your steps.
Okay, cool. Yeah, now, how have you seen Worldpackers affected by this? As you know, as a hostel owner, we went and saw our properties go from 83% occupancy to 2% occupancy in a matter of 72 hours. Did you see a very quick and abrupt cancellation of travels and things like that?
Yes, for sure. Same. I think we are following the same path as the whole industry.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of days. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, everything was normal. It wasn't affecting the exchange we promote. But yeah, right now we are pretty much the same situation like everyone else.
Now, to kind of talk about the topic of a Worldpacker, as a lot of them are out there, what are you finding is the situation for Worldpackers that were in the process of using your service and doing the exchange at hostels all over the world? Are a lot of them kind of caught in those hostels or in lockdown on those hostels, or have the hosts been willing to put them up during that time period?
So this is exactly what we are doing right now. We are trying to make sure our hosts and travelers are safe wherever they are right now. So we are trying to talk to them, be close to the community, to cancel future trips being canceled, either us or the hosts. And we are trying to find support for the travelers that are on the road, and for some projects that are trying to help, trying to shelter people, because to be on the beach right now, it's not a safe place to be. So we are trying to articulate with the community to make sure everyone's safe.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's always the number one priority for everyone right now. You've kind of got to put business aside for the current moment. But what do you see as far as, is there a point where cancellations kind of drop off or stop? You know, like, do you see people still keeping their hosting obligations and or backpacking applications? Are they still there for like June or July, or when do you see that cancellation line in your market?
You're talking about when we're gonna be able to do future trips?
Oh no, but like inside of your existing platform, when did you see most of the cancellations go through? Was it April, May, or June? What are you seeing as far as that?
Definitely the first weeks of the pandemic. You know, this week and last week have been definitely where we have the most cancellations.
Uh-huh.
And now we are facing people trying to cancel future trips, because as the whole situation is unfolding, people are trying to understand either if they're canceling future trips or not. I think everyone's kind of waiting to see what the situation will look like in the next days, weeks.
Yes, and that's so much of what we're hearing from other people as well across the industry is how do you plan for the unknowable or the, there's completely a day-to-day operation as far as what news comes out and how this will change things. And then there's also a good topic of how long will it take for the travel industry to recover even after they say it's okay to start traveling again. So a lot of unknowns that make it difficult to plan for. Completely understandable. Are there any specials that you guys are offering right now to potential Worldpackers that either have trips planned or looking to make new trips?
Yeah, sure. We are extending our annual membership for 6 months.
Okay.
As this is the time period that we think the situation will be solved.
Okay.
And right now we are trying to as I said, get closer to the community. We're trying to understand which travelers are in need of help, who is trying to go back home. We definitely have some Worldpackers with current hosts in this current moment right now. So we are trying to find support to them because everyone's trying to hold together, right?
Yeah.
The hosts are facing this lockdown with a big loss. And they had their team, they had their staff. A lot of people are trying to choose between pay staff or pay their rent. Yeah. So the situation right now is try to hold, try to understand everyone needs in this moment, which is very unique. That's why we're trying to be as close as we can to understand each individual need right now. But yeah, we're trying to do what is best for the community and for the safety of our travelers and hosts.
Sure, yeah, and you bring up the good point of planning about 6 months out. That's kind of what the experts say that in the conservative estimate, it could be the effect time or period. So it does make it very difficult. But I know we have a large amount of Worldpackers spread across our 4 locations, and now they're trapped in the same situation. They can't travel back to their country, or they don't have any prospects for any other jobs or situations. So it's very difficult for them as well. We've tried to utilize the free time and open access to the facilities to do a lot of deep cleaning, renovations, things like that, facilities improvements. So to utilize that live-in staff while you have them, because it can still be mutually beneficial as they don't have much anywhere to go to right now anyways, or any other prospects. So there's definitely ways to utilize the situation to your advantage, but it is quite a pickle we're all in, that's for sure.
Yes. Everyone's kind of trying to understand day by day what will happen in the next days, weeks. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the United States, you are all locked down as well.
Correct.
For a month or two? Is that a month?
Yeah, well, the Donald, our president, has been more on the optimistic side, I think, to try to keep confidence up, and he wanted to keep it to 2 weeks. But now I think he even realizes, and now he's saying it's going to be Easter, which I think has religious connotations of we're going to reopen at Easter. So even that in his very optimistic viewpoint puts this going out another month. And then, the scientists going from a scientific view, and we had Christopher Mullaney on last night giving us some of his thoughts, but from the scientific viewpoint, it could go on for 3 to 6 months very easily. So we all have to make our preparations for something in there, because another tricky thing before I let you go, and I thank you so much for your time, I know you're extremely busy as well, but another tricky thing for hosts is with these Worldpackers and your staff in general, it's really hard to let go of everyone, not only from the emotional standpoint of things, but also if they were to say in a week or two, okay, everything's fine, we did a good job, we're turning everything back on, it's very hard to then rebuild everything from scratch if you've been dealing with this situation as if you were going to be in it for months on end. So there's definitely that situation you've got to deal with as well.
Yeah, about the speech of Trump, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is following pretty much the same speech, the same path. The country was in a recession previously already, so he's trying to be optimistic about it, trying to calm people down and get business back. That's his main concern, and that's a very delicate debate right now, which some people are concerned about the deaths of being caused by the virus, but a lot of people are now debating that if we don't get back to business, much more people will die, will suffer from the economic collapse we will be facing in the next months. So I don't know how's that situation in the U.S., but it might be pretty similar to São Paulo, Brazil.
Agreed. Yeah, no, that's a big topic. We were talking about that last night's episode of is the cure, worse than the actual sickness. What we do to the economy will have so many side effects of people in their health in other ways through stress and depression, anxiety, all these different things that we're creating by doing this. Is it worth it? So very difficult situation and topic to debate because there's obviously pros and cons on each side. But I thank you so much for taking the time to give us an update on the situation down there in Brazil and also with Worldpackers. And we'll definitely want to touch base with you again in the coming days as things are unfolding so much now. We'll kind of touch base then and see where we're at, because it's so useful for not only the hosts to hear what's going on across the spectrum, but also the Worldpackers themselves that are using the service. So thank you so much, Eric Faria, and we wish you the best down there in Brazil.
All right. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk to you.